in the last week, there was a little bit of, like not every year is going to be perfect. That year wasn't my best showing in 2021. And I wasn't really happy with it, but I really enjoyed it. I let that go and I was like, I'm going to have fun with it. And I still remember like looking at the lights, looking at the people in the crowd, finding my family. Like there's all these iconic pictures of me holding a heart like this and pointing at them because I'm really there. And
that was for me.
That was for you. Yeah, of course. You were sitting right behind Courtney. I was like, she thought I was looking at you. Yeah.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah. And then the next year was, I kind of coming back from that and just more of the same, focusing on enjoying it.
Yeah.
I had a new coach for the first time in my entire career, Mr. Honey Rambod. With the system we did wasn't too much different. It was just a little more fine tuning all that we've done. And I wanted to prove that like we could do it even better, and every year I was like, I would like to prove to myself that I can continue to improve.
Yeah.
I want to know that I can keep working harder and being a better version of myself mentally and physically, and just focusing on all that. And a lot of what I've focused on over the last 2.5, 3 years or so is just purely mental. Just how can I be mentally secure and strong and focused and present and enjoy this, and not just happy and high all the time, but when I have those lows, being able to feel that, being able to like understand where they're coming from, express it. If I'm like anxious and talk about it, or Courtney asks me like what's wrong, sometimes she'll look at me. It's only happened a few times, but she'll be like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah." "Are you good?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Why?" "I'm fine." "Are you good?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Are you okay?" And then I start bawling. I'm crying. And I'm like, she's like, "What is it?" I'm like, "There's just so much shit going on. All this shit, people saying this, that. I got to win Olympias. This, I like, let it all out." And I'm like, holy, I didn't realize that was in there. And then I talk about it and I'm like, and she's like, "Okay, well, like, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." She's like, "Well, of course you feel like this. Like, think of the shit that's on your plate right now." I'm like, I guess you're right. Yeah, like it's just normal. Like, let me just sit in this and feel it right now. And the more I like allowed it to come up in me and feel it, it just slowly kind of like faded. And now when it comes up, instead of me being like, just push that away, this is your life, you're Olympia, own it, I let that come up. If I have fear and stress and I allow myself to feel it, it just naturally kind of dissipates into wherever it goes. And then I feel a lot lighter afterwards. I feel more free. I feel like myself, and then I'm able to go on with my life and enjoy it. So it's been a journey for sure. I've had a lot of help with Courtney, my family, I have therapists I work with and shit, but it's really helped me enjoy life a lot more.
You mentioned therapists. What do they do? Just an extra person to talk that's not connected to the world?
Yeah, I mean, a completely unbiased person who's going to give it to you. They obviously understand a lot, as much as people think that, a lot of people had a really rough childhood. A lot of people didn't. Like, that doesn't affect me. Like, that shit affects you. That affects every decision, every reaction that you have. Every reaction is a state of protection you had from your past and your childhood of some sort. Is a reason why you're going past your prefrontal cortex into the back of your brain of just like, no pause, just react. So if you can kind of calm that reaction, have a pause, understand why you're feeling a certain way, and react out of a choice of how you want to, feelings come up, but how you react can be a choice. So if you can kind of work on that, then it helps. And a therapist can kind of help you dig into that, ask you deeper questions, really focus on like bringing parts out of you that you didn't really know were there. And it's helped me a lot. A lot of people are like, "You must be fucked up if you go to a therapist." I'm like, "That, I just want to be better. If I want to be the best version of myself on stage, I want to be the best version off stage. What all can I do to be the best of myself? I'm not just going to wait till I'm fucked up to go to a therapist. I want to just go to it, So whatever that stigma is, that's a stigma I try and break all the time. And I openly talk about getting help and talking to people because it's helped me,
I didn't have anybody around me that was at the top level of anything that said what you've said. I was kind of creating my own path and coming from, the world that we're both from, very blue collar. Mum and dad have worked hard and everything else, and we kind of are the ones that have separated from the pack. My emotions were my emotions. I probably only cried in front of Ali a few times to this day.
Yeah.
And I probably have said this more. I'd like to, but as soon as I get there, there's this moment that shuts me down, and it's more of an ego than anything else. It's just like, shut the fuck up.
It's a protection.
Yeah.
Like it served a purpose. At one point in your life, you needed to protect yourself.
Yeah.
You had to create this wall to make sure that you were going to be safe. If your environment wasn't safe, you had to create this wall to protect yourself, and you needed it as a child. But as we grow up, we don't need that anymore, but it's still innate into how our brain functions. And then you have to really work at digging that up and allowing it out. Because what I'm like still learning and working through is that our society really pushes individualism. Like You focus on you, I'll focus on me, let's focus on ourselves. And then, you know, like a couple, we can come together once we're good and like be good together, but focus on your shit together and like that, you know. But I don't think human beings are wired for that. And I did for a long time. You know, I was a person, be like, you okay? I'm fine. I'm always fine. You know me, I'm good. You know, I can handle anything. And people are like, okay, Chris is good.
Yeah.
But then I started to be like, I started to feel alone and not seen. And like, you know, like, but I'm not letting myself be seen. So being able to understand the importance that humans really need connection, and that connection comes from sharing, like vulnerability. Vulnerability, I've also learning, just spitting random shit out at you right now. It's not just sharing hard shit, but allowing yourself to be seen in excitement and in joy and goofy and, you know, like just being whatever is real to you. You know, it's a lot of people really struggle with that, of being their true selves all the time. And it's comes from these protections we put on in our childhoods for whatever we needed at the time. And now that we don't need it, it's still innate in us, and you need to kind of work through it.
How many times have you put on a face for the public and truly are kind of like, man, I'm hurting?
Can't count. No idea. I try and share when I can, but I know, like, I also don't feel an obligation anymore, and I did in the past, to share to the public how I feel. I try to help people, because I know when I do, people are like, I'm struggling too. But I got to focus on me too at the end of the day. And my family, my close friends, Courtney, that's where I really try and open myself up to. But I'm not trying to put my whole life out into the world, you know? So there are times where you have to do it, but there's definitely times where it's hard. And I can't imagine the amount of times you've had to do it over your years.
Well, we both can share them, you know, relatable stories. But there's one particular year, obviously, that I mentioned that Dallas died. That was a tough year for me. I had to be an autopilot, and you know, we've lost mutual friends as well, and you know, there's life goes on. But when you turn up at an event, you know, the fans expect to see the best version of you, right? So you kind of have to have a autopilot mechanism that goes on. Not to say that that's fake, because you're still there, you're still present, you're still talking to your fans, and you're enjoying the experience. I know both of us love it. We love to talk, and we love to hear stories, and we really engage with, you know, kids and stuff. But then there's been many times where it's like it's you know, a tough thing, and I don't know what I'm going with this, but I think with anything else, there's things that you've said that I didn't even know myself, you know, which even gives me much more respect for you, because it's tough to have any notoriety, let alone what you've got, and then everybody wants you to be Mr. Positive all the time. You've done a good job, like I said, you know, of showcasing different things and being open, vulnerable, and also showing the best version of yourself. And again, that's one of the reasons why you've got 17 million followers, mate. You know, it's incredible. But mentioning Hani Rambod and also working with Ian, you know, you guys first, I want to give, you know, kudos to Ian and what you guys both achieved from your very first show, prepping with your brother-in-law. Yeah. Was that tough at times? Did Christmas Day get any shitty presents after?
We definitely had some moments. Yeah. And nothing like bad, but like we were brothers. Yeah. You know, so we butt heads. For sure, you know, we're brothers in the same realm, doing a lot of the same shit, doing shit that already makes you pissed off, being hungry all the time, you know. So we butt heads, but I have like the utmost love and respect for that man. There's like two men in my life who I like look up to, Ian and my dad. You know, Ian's like the reason I was able to be successful at a young age, and I came into that first show I did one and then climbed so quick, and the reason I didn't up my health and do too much drugs, do too much stupid shit to be in my bodybuilding career was because of Ian. He is like the reason I like always trained with someone who was lifting 2 plates more than me on everything, so I pushed myself to be stronger and better, was because Ian was always stronger and bigger than me. So he pushed me, he taught me everything, and like the reason I got where I was in my career. So it was super grateful for him. I don't think I'd be where I am without him, at least not this young. So very grateful for that. And that was a really tough decision to leave, you know, to make that call. That was really hard, but
you called me.
Yeah, I did. I called you. You know, I didn't call many people. I think I called like 2 people out of my family. You were one of them. Bro. And I just needed some, like, I was like, man, it was tough. But luckily it was a point where we weren't button heads, and I was like, we were talking, and it was like, I knew the last Olympia, it took away from his Olympia. And we talk about like a lot of my focus being so much on me to enjoy the Olympia. And I took a step back at one point. I was like, he enjoyed his less because he was worrying about me. And this isn't just
Shit,
prepping
I mean,
someone
yeah.
into a show. This is
think about that,
prepping
yeah.
someone to win the 4th Classic Physique Olympia title. That's a lot of pressure on that. It's tough. So we had a conversation, and I was like, and he was never going to tell me like I can't coach you, because he was there for me if I needed him no matter what. But I didn't want to take that away from him. So we talked, and we came to the decision it would be best for both of us. He actually did get to the point where he's like, I'm worried that I can't give you what you deserve. Like being able to focus on me, I'm worried that I can't give you what you need to take your career to the next level and your physique to the next level, and I don't want to be the one holding you back. And I was like, well, I don't want to hold you back from being able to focus on you for your shit. And then we're like, okay, well, had some bro tears, and hugged it out, and then went on to trying to figure out who's going to coach me next. And that was tough because he was the only person I ever had in my life. And I never wanted to go after like some like guru or someone out there, because I don't really trust shit I see on social media. So I had no idea where I was going to go. And then it wasn't until Pittsburgh Pro last year, so literally a year ago to this Friday, Pittsburgh Pro this Friday, that I was down there, and I was talking to Hani, and he just talked to me about, we were talking about Derek Lunsford, who had a crazy mental and physical transformation, just like
Incredible.
180. Now he's just like crushing it. And we're talking about some of that and just like mindset. He's worked with some like business CEO people on like training and mindset, and just he's focused a lot on mental, what he's talking about. And I didn't even tell him that's what I was super interested in. And I was like this is just clicking right now. We were just flowing. And he's a maniac. He's super outgoing, very extrovert.
Yeah.
I'm a little more quiet sometimes, and so I flow with people who are like crazy that. So we kind of clicked off then, and then I held that in my back pocket, and I was kind of worried to pick someone. It's a family. You're bringing someone into your family. The very intimate moments, a lot of trust, very serious. So I held off for a while from even asking Hani if he'd coach me. And then it was like August, at like 4 months out, 3.5 months out, I called him and asked him to coach me. And he thought I just meant mentally like help him. But I kind of like worded myself a little like, you can maybe help me a bit here or that. And he'd be like, and then I called him a week later, we were talking, and I was like, I mean like coach me fully.
Oh.
And he's like, oh. He's like, I need to think about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then he was like, I was like, oh shit, okay.
He put you on hold.
He put me on hold, yeah.
Look at Hani.
Motherfucker.
Hani probably hung up. He's like, yes. Okay.